Me again, Dr. Detroit. I think the first thing I'm going to do on this project, on the 51, is to start taking the steering apart and the front suspension. And I've got you propped up against my milling machine at the moment because I don't have a stand. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see, but I'm going to start working on it. First thing I'm going to do is take the arm off the pitman arm. Because it's an old-fashioned ball and screw style, you can just loosen it up and it'll fall off. So, yeah, see, I was afraid of that. You can't even see it at the moment. Trust me. I gotta pull this cotter pin, take this out, unscrew the screw that's in there, and drop that off. We'll try to find some place that's a little better to prop you so you can see. Sorry about the, what would you call that, lens flare? It's old, I know. But this is the connection between the pitman arm and the rod. And now, I had a pair of vice grips a minute ago. And where did I put them? There they are. So first things first, we'll try to pull this out. Screwdriver onto the pair of vice grips. Hopefully a little prying up action here will help pull the cotter pin out. And if it doesn't, it just at least looks like I'm doing something. But there. Success. Cotter pin. Now, that's going to get put in the trash pile. We don't need to save old cotter pins. They make new ones every day, and I have kits that have new ones. I'm going to move you to another location now so you can see what I'm doing from here. All right, on this side, you see on these old tie rod ends and steering linkage, there's I don't even know if you can see it with the way the camera's acting right now, but the screwdriver's in a screw head. It's pretty rusty though, so I don't know if I'm going to get this unscrewed or not. But this is how you adjust these. You can actually tighten them up on the ball a little bit. I'll show you that when we get down to that point. Oh, it is not cooperating. We may have to heat it up a little. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. Let me put you on hold and we'll come back to that when I go find something to heat it up with. Alright, so I just have a little propane torch here. And we're going to heat this up a little bit because what happens is you get some rust in there. But the grease gets really old, so it's just burning like an old candle. The wax separates out of it and it just turns into this brick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up a little. Try and expand this circle a little bit to allow the threads to be looser. And I'm going to spray it with my own magical solution. Everybody has one. Mine is whatever happens to be left over from empty oil cans, transmission cans, Marvel Mystery Oil, and whatever else I happen to have laying around. All ends up in my little squirt gun. And my squirt gun, once this is hot, will do an excellent job of absorbing some of it into the threads, and we'll try to get it apart at that point. See the little bits of old wax dripping off on fire? That, and it's kind of cold in the shop today. I haven't turned the heat on yet this year. It's, I don't know, maybe 45 degrees in here. Okay. Now, in theory, like plumbing, wherever you put the heat will draw the oil. Just like wherever you solder a pipe, if you put the heat further up the pipe, the solder will travel up. And we're just trying to do a similar thing here with our magical fluid concoction of nonsense. Well, it is starting to boil around the threads. So maybe we'll hit it one more time. Then see if it'll come out. Must be on fire in there. There's little drips of flame coming out. That's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. All right. Magical screwdriver. I have a pipe wrench I should probably be doing this with, but hey, if you don't use the wrong tools, how do you show how to do things the right way when you use the right tools? Right? If you use all the right tools, people will think you know what you're doing. And if they do that, they'll ask you to do things. Oh, you know what you're doing? Hey, can you fix my car? Can you come plow my driveway? Blah, blah, blah. People. Ugh. Can't live with them. You can't bury them in the swamp. So this is what you do. You go on YouTube and you pretend you know what you're doing. And you let people insult you, because that's even more fun. Oh. All the stuff we have to do just so... Hey, it turned. I think we have success. All right. I don't want to touch this with my bare hands. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be a little warm. I mean, as it had liquid fire pouring out of it at one point. Was really a clever design at one point. You could rebuild these. You could put new balls and new parts inside them, which is probably why they don't exist anymore, because you'd have to maintain them, and then you could actually rebuild them, and you wouldn't have to buy your shitty Moog ball joints that come from Souflakistan. It's made out of Chinesium and plastic. because here, this is what, a 51? So this is a 70-year-old part, and a little heat, a little magic fluid, and it's coming right apart. Well, I mean, as right apart as 70-year-old part will come apart. Let's see if it's ready to come off of there yet. Nope, a little more, almost. We may have to unthread the piece completely. The only reason I wouldn't want to take this all the way out, because I wouldn't want to lose it. Oh, we're so close. There we go. And you see, this just has a ball on it. And this part's an adjustable socket. Ball goes in the socket, you tighten this screw up, there's a little replaceable part inside, bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's get a better view of that socket ball. There, now you can see it. There's the socket, and then this link goes right inside, and yeah, it's full of schmutz. But you see that little sort of semi-round part in there? As you tighten up the screw, that tightens in behind the ball. And it's rebuildable. And the grease inside it now looks like grease. But it didn't originally. It looked like wax. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. I had to get this truck inside, and I couldn't get the brakes off. And since I'm not planning on using this axle or brakes, I finally gave up and just took my sledgehammer out. So they're not very functional brakes at this point, but the wheel spin's nice and free. I would take the tires off, but as I plan on dropping the whole axle, it's kind of nice to allow it to roll. I got to take these shackles apart. And it looks like there's just a bolt. And maybe, I don't know, something else, but we'll figure it out. Then we'll take all the rivets off the mounts and pull the mounts right out. And then on the back side, where'd it go? Right there. We're going to do the same. We'll take that apart. I don't know if I'll film all of it, but I will try to film as much of it as I can. But we'll get right back to you. Okay, this feels like my best idea in the world. I'm going to start taking this out with one hand. See all this weld? This thing has had any number of different bumpers welded to it at any given time. Having been a wrecker, it had a push bumper on it. It had a snowplow plate on it. It's going to take me a while to grind all that off, but I think it'll be all right. Anyway, let's see if we can get this bolt out. Or we could fling my pair of vice grips that I had on the other side halfway across the room. No, it just fell on the floor. All right, we'll get take 2 in a minute. All right, let's try that again. Think something came off? I don't know what happened. Nope. All right, I got to try something different. All right, I got the bolt undone, and here's one of the shackle halves. And this piece threads in, and this piece, I believe, also threaded in, and there's grease fittings on them, and they used to grease in between here and here, and then here and here. Doesn't look like anybody greased this in a long time. So the good news is I don't have to take these parts out, but if you were going to rebuild these, you'd have to get those to unscrew, and then you'd put new ones in with new grease fittings and new shackles. That one's been greased, at least a couple more times. This one, not so much. All right, I'm not going to film this, but I'm going to go take the other one apart, and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, fronts are off. Yeah, both shocks broke. There's a big surprise. And now we got to deal with the back. In the back is a big bolt threaded through this cast piece with a grease fitting on the other side to help grease the bushing. I'm going to have to heat this. This is going to take some time. I will be moving the red rag on the floor so I don't light it on fire. But I'll let you know how things go. But I'm just generally going to heat up this cast piece and see if I can't get that out. All right, I'll be back. And sometimes no matter much heat, excuse me, how much heat you use, you don't get it loose, and you end up grinding the heads off the rivets and pulling the whole mount off because you don't need it anymore anyway. So, this one, hey, how about we stop shaking the camera and we shake the part? See, so that's all loose now. This whole side's loose. I just got to do the same thing. There's 4 rivets. You got to cut 2 off the outside, 2 out of the frame. And then just, with our friend here, take it all out. Okay. And I'll be back. I got to go do the other side, and then we'll figure out how we're going to get this big monstrous axle out from under this rolling piece of antiquity. All right, so this is what I did on the other side, and I just started. Grind the head of the 2 rivets off. While I was doing that, I leaned against this tire. Pretty sure it needed a new bushing. I don't think that's so good.